Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a cliff. Below you, a life of regret, unfulfilled potential, and excuses. Behind you, the comfort zone that keeps you stuck. But right in front of you, the leap to an extraordinary life, the life you deserve. The question is, are you ready to dominate your destiny, or will you let fear dictate your future? If you're here right now, you've already made a decision. You're not here to play small. You're here to win. You're to become unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniable. Let's dive in and uncover the steps to dominate your destiny. Step 1, taking absolute control. Taking absolute control means assuming complete responsibility for your life, actions, and outcomes. It's about recognizing that you are the architect of your destiny and the driving force behind your successes and failures. This principle is rooted in the belief that the power to change your life lies within you, not in external circumstances or the actions of others. When you take absolute control, you refuse to be a victim of your environment, upbringing, or past experiences. Instead, you choose to shape your future intentionally, making conscious decisions that align with your goals and values. It's a mindset of ownership, an unwavering commitment to steer your life in the direction you desire, regardless of challenges or setbacks. Taking absolute control starts with mastering your mindset. Your thoughts shape your beliefs, which in turn influence your actions and results. By taking control of your mind, you become aware of limiting beliefs, negative self-talk, and disempowering patterns that hold you back. You replace self-doubt with confidence, fear with courage, and indecision with clarity. This mental shift allows you to break free from self-imposed limitations and unlock your potential. It's about choosing empowering thoughts that propel you forward rather than dwelling on excuses or reasons why you can't succeed. This level of control over your mind requires consistent effort, practicing gratitude, visualization, and affirmations to rewire your mindset for success. Taking absolute control also involves taking ownership of your emotions. Emotions can either drive or derail your progress. When you let external events dictate how you feel, you surrender control to circumstances beyond your influence. True control means deciding how you respond to challenges, setbacks, and disappointments. It's about developing emotional resilience, the ability to stay grounded, focused, and solution-oriented, even in the face of adversity. You acknowledge your emotions but refuse to let them dictate your actions. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully, guided by your principles and long-term vision. Emotional control empowers you to make decisions from a place of strength rather than weakness, ensuring that your actions align with your highest values. Another aspect of taking absolute control is managing your time effectively. Time is a limited and irreplaceable resource. When you control your time, you decide how it's spent rather than letting distractions, procrastination, or the agendas of others dictate your schedule. This means setting clear priorities, focusing on high-impact activities, and eliminating time-wasting habits. You plan your day, set specific goals, and work with intention. You recognize that every moment counts and that consistent, focused action leads to extraordinary results. Taking control of your time is about saying no to things that don't serve your purpose and dedicating yourself fully to the pursuits that truly matter. Step 2, master your mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world, shaping your reality and determining what you believe is possible. It's the internal dialogue that dictates how you interpret events, challenges, and opportunities. A person with a limited mindset sees obstacles as threats, problems as permanent, and setbacks as signs of failure. On the other hand, someone who has mastered their mindset views challenges as opportunities for growth, setbacks as temporary, and failure as a stepping stone to success. This difference in perspective is what separates those who thrive from those who merely survive. Mastering your mindset begins with awareness, recognizing the thoughts and beliefs that drive your actions. Most people operate on autopilot, unaware of the limiting beliefs that sabotage their potential. These beliefs often stem from past experiences, conditioning, and the opinions of others. Statements like, "I'm not good enough," "I can't succeed," or "I'm too old to change," are mental barriers that keep you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and inaction. But the mind is malleable. It can be trained, conditioned, and rewired to serve you instead of hindering you. The first step to mastering your mindset is understanding that thoughts are not facts. Just because a thought crosses your mind doesn't mean it's true. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This realization allows you to detach from negative self-talk and see it for what it is, an old pattern that no longer serves you. Instead of identifying with self-limiting beliefs, challenge them. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it true, or is it just a story I've been telling myself? What evidence do I have to support or disprove it? This process weakens limiting beliefs and creates space for empowering ones. Consistently feeding your mind positive, empowering beliefs is essential to mindset mastery. Just as you wouldn't put junk food into your body every day, you must be intentional about what you feed your mind. This means consuming uplifting books, listening to motivational speakers, and surrounding yourself with people who inspire you. It's about choosing to focus on possibilities instead of limitations, solutions instead of problems, and opportunities instead of obstacles. When you deliberately direct your focus, you train your mind to find the good in every situation. This mental conditioning strengthens your resilience, enabling you to bounce back from setbacks faster and stronger. Another crucial aspect of mastering your mindset is managing your inner dialogue, the conversations you have with yourself every day. Most people's self-talk is harsh, critical, and unforgiving. They speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to a loved one. This negative self-talk erodes confidence, diminishes self-worth, and keeps you stuck in a cycle of fear and hesitation. Instead of saying, "I'll never be good enough," say, "I am capable, confident, and unstoppable." Instead of thinking, "I always mess things up," declare, "I learn and grow from every experience." These affirmations might feel awkward or untrue at first, but repetition is key. Over time, your subconscious mind begins to accept these statements as truth, and your actions align accordingly. Visualization is another powerful tool for mindset mastery. The mind cannot distinguish vividly imagined experiences from reality. When you visualize yourself achieving your goals, overcoming challenges, and living your ideal life, you program your brain for success. This mental rehearsal conditions your mind to believe in your ability to succeed, making the path forward feel familiar and attainable. Elite athletes, high achievers, and successful entrepreneurs often attribute a significant part of their success to visualization technique. By consistently picturing success, you prime yourself for confidence and peak performance. Cultivating a growth mindset is also vital to mastering your mindset. A fixed mindset believes abilities, intelligence, and talents are static traits. You either have them or you don't. A growth mindset, on the other hand, understands that skills can be developed and abilities can be enhanced through effort, practice, and persistence. When you adopt a growth mindset, you embrace challenges, learn from criticism, and find lessons in failure. You see effort as a path to mastery, not a sign of weakness. This mindset fuels continuous growth, pushing you to achieve things once thought impossible. Mastering your mindset also involves letting go of the need for certainty. The desire for certainty keeps people stuck in their comfort zones, afraid to take risks and make bold decisions. But growth and transformation require stepping into the unknown. It means becoming comfortable with discomfort and viewing uncertainty as a playground for possibility. When you stop needing everything to be perfect or guaranteed, you free yourself to take action and seize opportunities. The magic happens when you act despite fear, trusting that you'll figure things out along the way. Emotional mastery is another critical component. Emotions are powerful drivers of behavior. When fear, doubt, and anxiety control you, your actions are hesitant and your potential is limited. But when you learn to manage your emotions, you can perform at your best even under pressure. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means acknowledging them, understanding their root causes, and choosing your response instead of reacting impulsively. Techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness, and reframing can help you regulate emotions and maintain composure, clarity, and focus. The final aspect of mastering your mindset is taking consistent action. Even the most empowering beliefs are useless without action. It's easy to get caught in the trap of overthinking, analysis paralysis, and waiting for the perfect moment. But perfection is an illusion. The only way to create change is through consistent, deliberate action. Small, consistent steps compound over time, leading to massive results. By committing to daily action, you build momentum, confidence, and a track record of success. You prove to yourself that you are capable, resilient, and unstoppable. Mastering your mindset is a lifelong journey. It requires continuous awareness, practice, and dedication. It's about recognizing the power of your mind and using it intentionally to create the life you desire. It's a commitment to rise above limiting beliefs, cultivate empowering thoughts, and shape your reality from the inside out. The more you practice, the stronger your mindset becomes, and the more control you gain over your life. Step 3, decisions shape destiny. Every single moment of your life is defined by the decisions you make. While many people believe that fate or external circumstances determine their future, the reality is that your destiny is shaped by the choices you make every day, both big and small. The power of decision-making is often underestimated, yet it is one of the most critical skills anyone can develop. Decisions are the catalysts that set events into motion, create momentum, and ultimately define the course of your life. The quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of your decisions. These decisions are not just about life's monumental moments, choosing a career, a life partner, or where to live, but also about the seemingly insignificant choices made every single day. Deciding to hit snooze instead of waking up early, choosing junk food over nutritious meals, procrastinating instead of taking action. These small decisions repeated over time shape habits, habits shape character, and character shapes destiny. It's easy to overlook the importance of these small choices, but they compound over weeks, months, and years, gradually building the reality you experience. Most people don't consciously decide their future, they default into it. They drift through life, reacting to situations instead of proactively shaping their lives. This passive approach to decision making is often driven by fear. Fear of failure, fear of making the wrong choice, fear of judgment. The irony is that not making a decision is in itself a decision. A decision to let life happen to you rather than making life happen for you. Indecision is one of the greatest thieves of opportunity. It keeps you stuck, stagnant, and frustrated. The key to breaking free is to make deliberate, intentional decisions, even when the path forward is unclear. Decisions are powerful because they set a course of action. When you make a real decision, you cut off all other possibilities. The word decide comes from the Latin root desiderare, meaning to cut off. This implies that a true decision leaves no room for retreat. It's a commitment, not a preference. When you truly decide, you eliminate all excuses and obstacles, and you create a sense of certainty. This level of commitment propels you forward, even in the face of challenges and setbacks. Half-hearted decisions lack this power because they leave room for doubt and hesitation. The decision to change your life can happen in an instant. It's not about the amount of time it takes to make a decision. It's about the intensity and conviction behind it. A powerful decision backed by burning desire and unwavering commitment can change the entire trajectory of your life. Many people wait for the right time to make decisions. When they have more money, more time, more information, or more confidence. But the right time rarely arrives. Successful people understand that decisive action creates confidence and clarity, not the other way around. They don't wait for certainty. They act and create it along the way. Every decision you make brings you closer to or further away from your goals. There's no neutral ground. Every choice either aligns with your vision or detracts from it. This is why clarity is so important. When you have a clear vision for your life, your decisions become easier. You evaluate options based on whether they bring you closer to your goals or pull you further away. Without clarity, decision-making becomes overwhelming and paralyzing. You become susceptible to distractions, shiny objects, and the opinions of others. But when you know what you truly want, you make decisions with confidence and conviction. Decisions are not one-time events. They must be made consistently. Deciding to be healthy, for example, isn't a single decision. It's a decision made repeatedly every day. You decide to exercise, to eat nutritious foods, to avoid harmful habits, and to prioritize your well-being. Consistency in decision-making builds discipline, and discipline creates lasting change. It's not the grand, life-altering decisions that make the biggest impact. It's the small, consistent choices that shape your habits and ultimately your destiny. Many people fail to recognize the true cost of indecision and avoidance. Avoiding a decision doesn't eliminate consequences, it merely delays them. Problems grow bigger, opportunities slip away, and life becomes a series of regrets. The pain of indecision is often far greater than the discomfort of making a tough choice. Avoiding decisions keeps you stuck in limbo, unable to move forward or backward. The fear of making the wrong decision often paralyzes people, but the truth is, even a wrong decision is better than no decision. A wrong decision teaches you, forces you to adapt, and provides clarity. Inaction, on the other hand, guarantees stagnation. Effective decision-making requires courage. The courage to face uncertainty, to make tough choices, and to accept responsibility for the outcomes. It also requires faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your ability to adapt, and faith that even a wrong decision can lead to valuable lessons and growth. No decision is final or irreversible. You can always pivot, adjust, and course correct. The key is to act decisively, learn from the results, and keep moving forward. It's also crucial to recognize that decisions shape identity. Your identity is the sum of the decisions you consistently make. If you decide to be disciplined, you become disciplined. If you decide to be confident, you become confident. Decisions create habits, habits shape behaviors, and behaviors define who you are. When you make decisions aligned with your values and goals, you reinforce your identity and strengthen your resolve. Conversely, when your decisions conflict with your values, you experience inner turmoil, self-doubt, and a lack of fulfillment. Many people fear making decisions because they associate decisions with loss. Choosing one path often means letting go of another. This fear of missing out or making the wrong choice can be paralyzing. But the truth is, indecision costs far more than a wrong decision ever will. By refusing to choose, you forfeit the chance to experience, learn, and grow. The most successful people understand that progress comes from making decisions quickly and decisively, acting, learning, and adjusting as they go. The decision-making process is not about perfection, it's about progress. Perfectionism is a form of procrastination disguised as a pursuit of excellence. It's the fear of making a mistake or failing. But mistakes and failures are the building blocks of success. Those who achieve greatness are willing to fail, learn, and keep moving forward. The act of making decisions, especially challenging ones, builds confidence, sharpens your instincts, and empowers you to handle uncertainty. At the heart of decision making is the understanding that your life is a reflection of your choices. The decisions you make determine the quality of your relationships, your career, your health, and your happiness. The path you walk, the people you surround yourself with, and the actions you take are all choices. If you're not where you want to be in life, it's because of decisions you've made or failed to make. The power to change your destiny lies in your hands and your ability to choose consciously, consistently, and courageously. Step 4, leverage pain and pleasure. Human behavior is fundamentally driven by two powerful forces, pain and pleasure. These forces shape every decision, action, and habit, whether we are conscious of them or not. The principle of leveraging pain and pleasure is rooted in understanding how these driving forces influence us and using them intentionally to create lasting change. Most people are conditioned to seek pleasure and avoid pain instinctively, but this automatic response often leads to short-term comfort at the expense of long-term fulfillment. True mastery of this principle involves learning to associate massive pain with unproductive behaviors and immense pleasure with actions that serve your highest goals. At a basic level, every decision you make is an attempt to avoid pain or gain pleasure. This instinctive behavior has evolutionary roots. Pain signals danger, harm, or threat, while pleasure represents safety, nourishment, and success. In today's complex world, however, the things we perceive as painful or pleasurable are often shaped more by conditioning than survival. People avoid discomfort, confrontation, or hard work because they associate these things with pain, while they gravitate toward instant gratification, comfort, and indulgence because they associate them with pleasure. This dynamic often keeps people stuck in habits and patterns that undermine their potential. Understanding this principle requires recognizing how the brain processes pain and pleasure. The mind is designed to seek shortcuts, preferring immediate rewards over delayed gratification. This tendency, known as the pleasure principle, can be detrimental when short-term pleasure leads to long-term pain. For example, procrastination provides immediate relief from stress, but it ultimately leads to failure, regret, and missed opportunities. Conversely, exercise may involve short-term discomfort, but it results in long-term health, confidence, and vitality. The challenge lies in retraining your brain to prioritize long-term pleasure over short-term comfort. One of the most effective ways to leverage pain and pleasure is by conditioning your responses. This process involves consciously linking pain to behaviors you want to eliminate and pleasure to actions you want to reinforce. For instance, if you struggle to quit smoking, you might vividly imagine the long-term pain of smoking, disease, financial loss, and diminished quality of life. Simultaneously, you associate the pleasure of quitting, better health, freedom, and increased energy. The key is to make these associations intense and vivid so that your mind feels the consequences as real and immediate. The stronger the emotional charge, the more powerful the leverage. This technique is not about suppressing pain or forcing pleasure, but about redirecting your mind's focus. People often fail to change their behavior because they focus on the immediate discomfort of taking action rather than the long-term pain of inaction. For example, someone who wants to get fit may dread exercise because of the initial discomfort, ignoring the deeper pain of being unhealthy, unconfident, and unfulfilled. When you make the long-term pain of inaction more real and immediate than the short-term discomfort of action, change becomes inevitable. Similarly, focusing on the pleasure of reaching your goals instead of the inconvenience of hard work makes the journey enjoyable. Leverage is about controlling what you associate pain and pleasure with, rather than letting these associations control you. The mind often makes faulty associations based on past experiences or conditioning. For example, someone who experienced failure in business might associate risk-taking with pain, even when the potential reward is enormous. Similarly, someone raised to believe that money is evil might unconsciously sabotage their financial success. Rewiring these associations requires challenging the beliefs that underpin them. Ask yourself, is this association serving me or holding me back? Is it based on truth or fear? What could I gain if I change this belief? The power of pain and pleasure can be amplified by setting consequences and rewards for yourself. Committing to a goal without leverage often leads to inconsistency. For example, A person who wants to lose weight might set a consequence for missing workouts, such as donating money to a cause they dislike. Conversely, they might reward themselves for consistency, such as treating themselves to a spa day after a month of disciplined exercise. The brain is highly motivated by the anticipation of pain or pleasure, so creating tangible rewards and consequences can strengthen your commitment to change. Leverage is also about identifying what you truly value. Lasting change happens when your values are aligned with your actions. When you associate massive pleasure with living according to your values and intense pain with betraying them, the decision to act becomes effortless. For instance, if you value family deeply, associating the pain of poor health with letting down your loved ones can drive you to adopt a healthier lifestyle. Similarly, linking the pleasure of financial success to providing a better life for your family can motivate you to excel in your career. The power of pain and pleasure extends beyond individual behavior. It can also be used to influence and motivate others. Great leaders understand how to leverage these forces to inspire action. They paint vivid pictures of the pain of failure and the pleasure of success, compelling people to commit wholeheartedly. This skill is often used in marketing, leadership, and negotiation, appealing to people's desires and fears to drive behavior. However, this influence must be used ethically, aligning with genuine benefits rather than manipulation. One of the biggest obstacles in leveraging pain and pleasure is the tendency to rationalize and justify behaviors. The mind can be incredibly creative when it comes to avoiding discomfort. People convince themselves that it's okay to skip the gym just this once, or procrastinate on a goal because there's always tomorrow. Rationalizations erode leverage by dulling the association between actions and consequences. To overcome this, it's essential to raise your standards. Refuse to tolerate excuses and hold yourself accountable. This requires honesty, discipline, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths. Another challenge is the mind's resistance to change. The comfort zone is a powerful force that keeps people stuck in familiar patterns, even when those patterns are painful. The brain is wired to resist uncertainty, so it often clings to what it knows, even if it's unfulfilling. Overcoming this resistance requires linking massive pain to staying the same and intense pleasure to embracing change. When the fear of staying where you are becomes greater than the fear of change, transformation becomes a necessity rather than an option. Understanding and mastering the principle of pain and pleasure is about taking control of your own motivations. It's about becoming aware of the subconscious associations that drive your behavior and consciously choosing new empowering associations. When you associate massive pleasure with actions that align with your goals and intense pain with behaviors that sabotage you, you create an unstoppable force for change. The key is consistency. Repetition conditions the mind to respond automatically, making productive behaviors second nature. This principle is not just a tool for temporary change, but a lifelong practice that can be applied to every area of life: health, relationships, finances, and personal growth. Step 5, massive action equals massive results. The concept of massive action equals massive results is rooted in the belief that significant progress in life, business, or personal growth does not come from small incremental steps, but from taking bold, consistent, and relentless action toward your goals. This principle suggests that if you want to achieve extraordinary success, you must be willing to put in an extraordinary amount of effort. It's not enough to merely dream, plan, or set goals. You must be willing to take massive action, often outside of your comfort zone, to bring those dreams into reality. When people talk about achieving their goals, they often underestimate the importance of taking action. It's easy to get caught up in preparation, planning, or research, thinking that success will come once everything is perfectly set up. However, the harsh reality is that success is built through action, not contemplation. Planning, while important, is a means to guide your efforts. But without action, those plans are just thoughts in your mind that hold no power. It's the doing that makes the difference. Massive action is about executing plans with vigor, even when there are obstacles, doubts, or challenges along the way. Massive action is the antidote to stagnation. Many people, even those who are highly motivated and have big goals, fail to take action at the level required to create significant results. Often people take small, half-hearted actions expecting huge outcomes. But when you take massive action, you set a higher standard for yourself and your results. Small, inconsistent actions rarely lead to transformative change, but when you throw everything you've got at your goal, when you immerse yourself in the pursuit with intensity, focus, and determination, that's when you start seeing results that can truly change your life. The truth is, it's not enough to take action occasionally or when it's convenient. To experience massive results, you must be willing to take consistent, relentless action over the long term, even when faced with setbacks or failure. Taking massive action is about commitment. It's about dedicating yourself fully to your goals, no matter the obstacles you may face along the way. It's the willingness to go all in on your vision, even when the path is unclear or the road is difficult. People who achieve massive success often do so because they don't let minor setbacks derail their progress. They understand that challenges are part of the journey, and instead of avoiding or fearing them, they tackle them head on, using each obstacle as an opportunity for growth. When you commit to massive action, you are declaring that no challenge is too big to overcome and that you are willing to fight through adversity to achieve your vision. Now, massive action also means being flexible and adaptive. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you need to follow a linear path to success. The reality, however, is that the road to success is rarely straight. It's full of unexpected turns, detours, and challenges that require you to adapt your approach. Taking massive action is not just about pushing forward blindly. It's about pushing forward with the willingness to adjust when necessary. If one approach doesn't work, you don't give up, you adapt, find a new way, and keep moving forward. The key is to remain focused on the end goal while being flexible in how you achieve it. Moreover, massive action creates momentum. Momentum is the key to sustained success. Once you start taking massive action, even if it's imperfect or feels uncomfortable at first, you build momentum. And momentum is a powerful force because it creates a snowball effect. As you continue to take action, you begin to see results, which fuels further action. This momentum helps you push through the tough times, and it makes the process feel more effortless over time. It also creates a cycle of success. Small wins lead to bigger wins, which lead to greater confidence, which in turn drives even more action. Momentum turns the idea of success from an abstract concept into something tangible and achievable. It's also important to note that massive action isn't just about quantity. It's about quality and consistency. Many people get caught up in the idea of working longer and harder without considering the effectiveness of their efforts. The truth is, working harder doesn't always equate to working smarter. To truly see massive results, your actions need to be focused, aligned with your goals, and consistently executed. Massive action means showing up every day, doing the right things with intensity, and staying committed regardless of how you feel or what happens around you. It's about developing the discipline to keep moving forward even when progress seems slow or invisible. This principle also goes beyond individual effort. While personal action is crucial, massive results often require collaboration. It's about surrounding yourself with the right people, creating powerful networks, and leveraging collective effort. Successful people know that they don't have to do it all alone. They take massive action by connecting with others, building partnerships, and learning from those who walk the path before them. When you take massive action in collaboration with others, you exponentially increase your capacity for success, reaching goals that would be difficult to achieve on your own. In the face of fear or uncertainty, massive action is the key to overcoming paralysis and self-doubt. Fear often holds people back from taking bold steps toward their goals, causing them to freeze or procrastinate. Taking massive action in the face of fear is empowering. It's a way of proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you think. Every action you take, no matter how small, reduces the grip of fear and builds your confidence. Fear thrives in inaction, but massive action starves it. When you take that first step, you start breaking through the walls of fear and self-limiting beliefs that have held you back. Another critical aspect of taking massive action is accountability. Holding yourself accountable ensures that you keep pushing toward your goals, even when the excitement of the initial effort fades. Without accountability, it's easy to get distracted or lose focus. Whether it's a mentor, a coach, or a supportive group of like-minded individuals, having someone or something to hold you accountable keeps you on track. It reinforces your commitment to taking massive action and keeps you motivated, especially during the inevitable moments when progress seems slow or the journey feels overwhelming. Taking massive action is about breaking free from mediocrity and stepping into your full potential. It's about pushing past your comfort zones, embracing discomfort, and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. The difference between ordinary results and extraordinary success often comes down to the willingness to go above and beyond. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal conditions. It's about making the decision to act now with urgency, passion, and dedication. When you consistently take massive action, you create a powerful ripple effect, not just in your own life, but in the lives of those around you. That's the transformative power of massive action. It not only leads to massive results, but it also empowers you to become the person you were always meant to be. Step 6, raise your standards. Raising your standards is about redefining what you accept from yourself and your life. It's a commitment to living at a higher level, not just in terms of external success, but in how you think, feel, and act daily. When you raise your standards, you draw a line in the sand and declare that certain things are no longer acceptable. Whether it's a lack of discipline, self-doubt, unfulfilling relationships, or settling for less than you truly desire. It's about shifting from I should to I must. When something becomes a must in your life, your behavior aligns with that new identity, and you find a way to make it happen regardless of obstacles. Standards dictate the quality of your life. Every aspect of your life, your health, relationships, finances, career, and personal growth reflects the standards you've set for yourself either consciously or unconsciously. For example, if you have a high standard for health, you won't tolerate being out of shape or neglecting your body. You'll exercise regularly, eat nutritious food, and make choices that support your well-being. Conversely, if your standard is low, you may skip workouts, eat unhealthy foods, and accept a lack of energy and vitality as normal. The same principle applies to relationships. If you value respect, love, and deep connection, you won't settle for toxic or unfulfilling relationships. In your career, high standards mean refusing to coast or accept mediocrity, constantly seeking growth and excellence. When you raise your standards, you change your identity. Your standards are deeply tied to your self-image, the way you perceive yourself and what you believe you deserve. If you see yourself as someone capable of greatness, you'll demand more from yourself. You'll set higher expectations and hold yourself accountable for achieving them. On the other hand, if you see yourself as average or unworthy, you'll settle for less and make excuses for not pushing yourself. Transforming your standards requires redefining your identity, seeing yourself as a person who expects and achieves more. It's about upgrading the beliefs you have about yourself, embracing a mindset of abundance, confidence, and unshakable self-worth. Raising your standards is the foundation of lasting change. People often struggle to make meaningful changes in their lives because they focus on altering behaviors rather than standards. For example, someone might try to quit smoking, exercise more, or save money, but without raising their standards, these efforts are often short-lived. True and lasting change happens when you elevate your standards, when you decide that unhealthy habits, financial irresponsibility, or low productivity are simply not acceptable anymore. At that point, change is no longer a matter of willpower. It becomes a natural outcome of your new identity. When your standards shift, so do your habits, actions, and results. The power of raising your standards is most evident when you make decisions. Decisions shape your life, and the quality of your decisions is determined by your standards. People who have high standards make decisions that align with their goals, values, and vision. They don't compromise on their principles, and they prioritize long-term benefits over short-term comfort. Those with low standards, however, often make decisions based on convenience, fear, or immediate gratification. They settle for less, procrastinate, and fail to commit fully. When you raise your standards, you make better decisions because you demand more from yourself and your life. You refuse to settle for excuses, distractions, or half-hearted efforts. Raising your standards requires a strong why. It's easy to set ambitious goals, but without a compelling reason, it's difficult to sustain the effort needed to achieve them. When your why is strong enough, you'll endure challenges, setbacks, and discomfort to reach your destination. For example, someone who raises their standards in their career might commit to working harder, learning new skills, and pursuing leadership roles. But without a powerful reason, such as providing for their family, achieving financial freedom, or making an impact, the motivation can wane. A strong why fuels determination and keeps you focused even when things get tough. Your environment plays a significant role in supporting or limiting your standards. Surrounding yourself with people who have high standards can elevate your own. We tend to adopt the behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs of those we spend the most time with, often without realizing it. If your circle of influence accepts mediocrity, laziness, or negativity, it becomes challenging to maintain high standards. On the other hand, being around ambitious, disciplined, and growth-minded individuals can inspire and push you to level up. Associating with people who demand excellence from themselves encourages you to do the same, reinforcing your commitment to higher standards. Raising your standards requires consistency and accountability. Setting high standards is easy, but living by them consistently is a different challenge. Consistency means holding yourself to those standards every single day, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or unpopular. It's about doing what needs to be done, not just when you feel like it, but because it's who you are. Accountability is a powerful tool for staying true to your standards. When you make your standards public or share them with a trusted person, you create an extra layer of commitment. Knowing someone else expects you to follow through can strengthen your resolve and keep you on track. The fear of failure often holds people back from raising their standards. Many settle for less because they're afraid of failing, disappointing themselves, or looking foolish. But avoiding high standards to escape failure only guarantees mediocrity. When you raise your standards, failure becomes a stepping stone rather than a dead end. It's a chance to learn, grow, and refine your approach. High achievers recognize that setbacks are inevitable, but they don't let failure define them. They use it to fuel their drive and reinforce their commitment to excellence. Raising your standards also means refusing to tolerate excuses. Excuses are the enemy of progress and achievement. They are comforting in the short term, but destructive in the long run. When you make excuses, you lower your standards and justify inaction. Those who commit to high standards take full responsibility for their actions, results, and circumstance. They don't blame others or external factors. They focus on what they can control and take ownership of their success. Taking responsibility empowers you to create change instead of waiting for it. Another aspect of raising your standards is the willingness to demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could. It's about holding yourself to a higher level of performance, effort, and discipline. This mindset transforms challenges into opportunities to rise above and prove yourself. It pushes you to go the extra mile, strive for excellence, and pursue greatness, even when others are satisfied with good enough. When you demand more from yourself, you unlock potential you didn't know existed. You stretch your limits, expand your comfort zone, and discover what you are truly capable of achieving. Raising your standards means rejecting mediocrity in every form. It's about setting a benchmark for what you will accept in your life, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. It's about choosing excellence over average and committing to being the best version of yourself. This mindset drives you to make bold choices, overcome obstacles, and pursue your vision with relentless focus. When you raise your standards, you refuse to settle for anything less than the life you deserve. You hold yourself to a level of excellence that compels you to keep growing, evolving, and achieving more. In the end, the quality of your life comes down to the standards you set for yourself. When you raise your standards, you elevate every aspect of your life, your mindset, your habits, your relationships, your career, and your personal fulfillment. It's a declaration to the world and, more importantly, to yourself that you will no longer settle for anything less than excellence. True transformation happens when you stop making excuses, take full responsibility, and commit to a life of higher expectations. You don't get what you want in life, you get what you tolerate. So refuse to tolerate mediocrity. Decide today to raise your standards, push past your limits, and create a life that reflects the greatness within you. The power to change your life is in your hands. Raise your standards and unlock your true potential.